and Mike, the Ape Man.
Oh my goodness gracious.
PTR Radio.
You ready to kick ass?
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to PTR Radio. Another fabulous evening here on the entire web. It is just Shaggy and Colin right now. We are still awaiting Mike the Ape Man, who will be here shortly, I'm sure. He had pressing issues. And since this is not a standard Monday evening show, we had to just let him off the hook for a little bit. But we have lots to talk about this evening. Sorry we are getting started a little bit later than normal, even for us.
Yeah, it's by several days late.
Yeah, well, several days late and several minutes late. We were going to go on at 6:30, but Microsoft had other plans because somehow, in just 2 weeks of the broadcast machine being off, like 47 patches were issued. I don't know if they were trying to keep up with Apple or what their deal was, but it took a solid 35 minutes to patch the broadcast machine. And that's just uncalled for. In fact, speaking of Apple and patches, Colin, did you hear about the Apple patch, the Apple vulnerability that went around?
I saw the vulnerability. The bigger one was the phone crashing thing.
Well, okay, so to bring people up to date first, because I haven't heard about that one, but what I did hear was Apple had a problem with their High Sierra update. All right. Now, most people are familiar with security problems. All right. We live with them every day. Sometimes an app leaks a little bit of information, or maybe through sending it a scripted packet or something, you can get it to where you can take control of it. Well, Apple said, hold my beer. All right. Because here's what you could do. You could get into their manage account settings screen. All right. Now you couldn't do you could log in as a guest. All right. No password needed. A lot of Macs had guest accounts on them. It was a popular default option. All right. Not even that, but if you walked up to any machine that was unlocked, you could do this. All right. And guest account is pretty typical. Like I said, go to account options. All right. Manage account users. Click on the little lock icon to get into the administrative portion of Manage Options. It prompts you for a user ID and password. All you had to do was put in the user ID of root, R-O-O-T, with no password, click OK, and now you have full rights to User Manager. So you could reset the actual owner's password. You could create your own account. You could do whatever you wanted to. And I saw this demonstrated on a machine that was loaded up, fresh High Sierra load. And they did this, and they weren't doing any tricks or anything. They're like, this is a real problem. Anybody can have access to your Mac. If they have physical access to it, they can own it. And so Apple said, oh, we'll put a patch out. We'll fix this. So they put out a patch. And then they put out a very quick security patch to solve the problem. And then, again, they said, Microsoft, hold my beer. I like what you do. I'm going to do it too. They put out a system patch, all right, to do a minor version increment of High Sierra that undid the security patch that they had previously issued out.
Brilliant.
So even if you patched your machine, by patching it again, you unlocked it again. And there have even been some complaints that then you couldn't apply the security patch a second time because there were some incompatibilities with the service pack, basically. So, for all the people out there, all right, and there are many who say, I have a Mac because it's more secure. You know, I don't get viruses because those are only written for Windows. All right. I don't need antivirus, which I have had people tell me that.
Yeah.
You can't unlock my machine by typing in root.
Nope.
All right. That's pretty ballsy of a problem.
Yeah. Now,
we haven't had an error like that in Windows in a while. You actually got to know stuff to get into a Windows machine.
if you have physical access, machine, you can get in.
Yeah, but usually you need a tool or two.
Yeah.
I mean, usually a thumb drive, at least. Normally not just fingers.
Yes.
All right. Normally there's something involved more than fingers and a first grade education. All right. So, yeah, that was... But you said there was a problem with the phones. Now, I know
Yes.
they had a problem with the latest iPhone iOS update killing batteries.
Yes. Well, this one was... Okay, so this actually... We'll get to this later, but I went to Disney this weekend, right? And we flew out
Really?
Saturday.
I'm surprised. You never go to Disney. You hate it. I heard you say, no, I'm done with the mouse.
So we flew out Saturday. Mm-hmm. And my dad, who has my old iPhone 6...
Okay.
After his previous iPhone 6 died in a water accident. He was trying to listen to a book on his new headphones.
Uh-huh.
And Audible kept crashing like every 10 seconds.
Well, that's no
And
good.
when the iPhone crashes, like goes to black screen and has a little spinny thing.
Yes.
And then goes back to the main menu.
Mm-hmm.
Well, came to realize that it wasn't Audible crashing. The phone was crashing. Like every 10 seconds or so, whatever application was running, it would crash. He thought his phone was dying. And, you know, it's an old phone, so maybe it's about time to get...
Now, by old, tell us how, 3 years?
It's an iPhone 6, so...
About 3 years.
6S, 7... Yeah, about
3 years.
About 3 years.
So, Apple's typical planned obsolescence.
Yep. So, and my phone was fine, so I didn't realize that this was happening. And so after we got to our destination,
Yep.
I did some more looking and discovered that, yes, there was a problem triggered on December 2nd, that day, where something in a recent OS update was interacting with notifications somehow and was crashing the phone.
Yeah, now I have heard of other ones before where if I send this person with an iPhone this text message, I can make their phone reset.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
Now, the problem here was that, so I updated my phone, which wasn't having a problem. Mine's an 8.
Mm-hmm.
I figured just mine's so much faster that it was
dealing
crashing.
with the problem.
It was dealing with the problem. So I got mine updated, no problem. I was trying to update his. The problem was trying to get the update downloaded while it was crashing over and over again.
So it took longer to update than the phone would stay alive for.
He has a limited data plan.
Oh, okay.
So his is set not to download unless it's on Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And every time it crashed, it would lose Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Because it was an unsecure like airport
Network,
Wi-Fi.
yeah.
So I kept, finally got it to update. Took several hours because I didn't have time to sit there and actually figure it out because we were at Disney.
Yeah.
So, but eventually got the OS updated, which did two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, stopped it from crashing anymore, and two, fixed the calculator. So, the calculator on
Apple couldn't get calculator right.
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
No, I got I got that wrong
this
too.
This is the greatest thing. Okay.
By the way, folks, if you want to chime in with your tech problems, that we're very early into this episode. We're going to do a little bit of tech talk.
Yes.
Hi Teresa. Go ahead and chime in on Facebook or Twitter. Or you feel free to call 877-787-8822. Mike's not watching those right now, but I am. So I will keep an eye on what's going on in the world of Facebook.
And I'm in the middle of ordering a whole bunch of plane tickets as well. When the iOS version that came with the iPhone 8,
Uh-huh.
they added a fancy animation to the buttons on the calculator. So when you hit plus, it lit up the icon. You know, it kind of throbbed it, right?
Oh,
Which was cool.
I like a throbbing phone.
The problem is that while it was doing its little animation, it couldn't accept any additional hits to the plus button. So if you hit 1 + 2 + 3 and hit enter, you would get 24.
That's no good.
Because you hit 1, then you hit plus, and then you hit the 2, but it was still throbbing from the first plus. So you hit plus again, but it didn't register that. So then you hit 3, and you just had typed 23.
Ah. Sorry, I was getting the what we call Mike's toy up and running.
Yes.
So now I can take a look at that a little bit easier. So there we go. Now we have them overlaid on our video.
Yay.
So, but yeah, I mean, you know, it is crazy how much we rely on these things, you know, just for day to day and everything. And by the way, if you haven't followed us on Instagram yet, you can follow us on Instagram as well, PTR Radio on there. I have been posting a few pictures throughout the season. Today, you got a picture of Potty the Elf, the pot smoking elf at work that we have. And it's a fun story about this. Let me see if I can actually bring him up here on our page so that everybody can see Potty the Elf. So here's Potty the Elf. And we couldn't resist, you know, that basically it was a toy. It's one of those toys where you put it in sunlight and then it just jiggles back and forth a little bit.
Okay.
So in this case, he jiggles back and forth, his eyes open and close. But Dino, the guy that's his desk, he wanted to see how it worked. You know, what makes him jiggle? All right, essentially. Well, in doing so, like so many of us did when we were little kids and we took something apart to see how it worked, he broke it in the process and couldn't put it back together. So Potty the Elf has a perpetual stone face. All right. And so we thought that it was best to then give him a voice and make him say things. So Potty is just going, dude. That's what he's saying today.
Now, did you have any pictures of how does it actually work?
We didn't take any pictures of how it actually works, but essentially what it is there is a stick going through the guy with a small magnet on it.
Uh-huh.
And then at the bottom, there is a coiled thing of copper. And the solar cell has a small capacitor on it. And then I don't know if it's a resistor or whatever, but it basically pulses power to the coil of wire, creating a temporary magnet of the same polarity, which then pushes the stick away from it because it oscillates, you know, underneath, above the magnet, and so basically it just repels the magnet away, which makes it sway, which makes Potty open and close his eyes. But like I said, is broke, so so now he's just perpetual stone face. But we love him the same. You know, and funny enough, we're going to have another one tomorrow. So like I said, follow our Instagram page. You will see our new Santa Claus at work tomorrow. All right. It's a special Santa Claus in a way you've never seen him before. So look forward to that. Now, speaking of Christmas, you know, something coming down for all of us. You know, everybody's got things going on. I think we can probably get into this by going, you know, we found a poll that said most popular Christmas movie in every state. And as per normal, we think the poll is full of crap.
Yes.
All right. We haven't seen a single poll yet that we actually agree with. All right. Give it a poll, be it a list, whatever. We think some of the suggestions are garbage. All right. So, and I know Mike's going to show up at any moment here, and so that'll make it even better. So here are the movies from across the country, all right, that people said were the best, and then we'll go about saying what state, which will be difficult because I didn't label the states, and I suck at geography. What states they think went with each one. So, let's see here. So, the movies themselves.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a show. A game. I've already brought up the...
Okay. Yeah, no, this isn't the game.
Okay.
We have a game later.
Okay, good.
So, the movies themselves. Scrooged. Frosty the Snowman. The Santa Claus. All right, the Tim Allen movie. Mm-hmm. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Mm-hmm. A Christmas Story. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Home Alone. It's a Wonderful Life. Elf. A Charlie Brown Christmas. Bad Santa. White Christmas. Christmas in Connecticut. Miracle on 34th Street. And Rudolph. All right, those are all your choices.
Rudolph?
Yeah.
That's not a movie.
Yeah, it is. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's not a movie.
Or Rudolph and the Island of Misfit Toys.
Okay, I guess if Charlie Brown Christmas is on, then okay.
It's a movie.
It's a TV special.
It's a movie. All right. So they say here in Illinois, which is the state that I know the picture of.
Uh-huh.
All right. They say the favorite movie for this state during the Christmas time is Home Alone.
Makes sense.
No.
Do you know why it makes sense?
Well, I'm sure it's because it's based in Chicago.
Exactly.
All right. And that's the only reason why anybody chooses anything for Illinois is because they go, oh, this features Chicago, or, features blues, or has the Sears Tower in it.
Yeah.
Or has the bean. So it must be the whole state loves this.
That's why the Chicago Bears have any fans, because it's in Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have anything else in this state other than the city of Chicago. So if Chicago loves it, everybody in Illinois loves it, evidently.
Statistically, it's correct.
Now,
do I like the movie Home Alone? Yes. Do I think it's anywhere close to my top favorite movie? No.
No, it's not.
I
would argue it's barely a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie, but...
Is Santa Claus in the movie?
Yes.
Where?
When Kevin goes to Santa Claus, who's about to get in his car and go home, and asks and says, okay, I know I wish for my family to go away, but I really like them back now.
Let me ask this. Is Santa Claus in the movie for more than 5 minutes?
That's about 5 minutes.
Okay. So,
but it's a very pivotal scene.
It's towards the end of the movie.
Then he runs back. I think that's when Mannheim Steamroller starts playing.
All right. Now, I'm going to take a guess. All right. This is where we're going to see how bad I am at geography. All right. I'm going to say Georgia's favorite movie also is Home Alone. Am I right?
No.
Damn it! It's Christmas Vacation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think okay. I am sure that Home Alone is liked. Maybe.
Here, hold on.
Let's bring up a map, because you might be correct. I was missing where Home Alone was down there. So.
All right. So you bring up a map. I'm going to show everybody how badly I'm doing. So where I'm looking at is right here. This Home Alone right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Which,
that's what I was saying was Georgia.
It might be Georgia.
Meanwhile, so we have the.
I wasn't looking.
All right. Let me put it this way. Texas, his favorite movie is Home Alone.
Yes.
I think we can all agree on that.
And Louisiana.
And Florida.
Yes.
All right. So they all like Home Alone too. Not the second one, but as well.
Okay, yes.
I was right?
Yes.
Oh, this
Correct on Georgia.
Hot damn. All right.
Sorry, I was looking at Virginia when you said Home Alone, and I thought that's where you were going. I missed it down in Georgia.
So that means Alabama is Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
Two states that. So that means then Tennessee is also Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
Tennessee right here.
Yep.
Folks, we are cooking with gas now. All right. So that means then that North Carolina
Yes.
is a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Both of the Carolinas.
Oh, holy crap. My second grade teacher would be so happy that I remembered this stuff. All right. So that means that Missouri is also Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
All right. And Iowa is Christmas Vacation. Indiana is It's a Wonderful Life. And Wisconsin is Elf, as is Michigan.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the Elf Belt.
It's the Rust Belt and the Elf Belt right through here.
Yeah.
All right.
And Elf mostly happens in New York, so New York is Elf, of course.
All right. So I am going to then say I'm going to take a guess that Connecticut is where Christmas in Connecticut is big. I'm just wild guess.
That's actually New Mexico.
Damn it! I knew I was close.
Now New Mexico's favorite. No.
What other podcast gives you a geography quiz for Christmas movies and shows you how dumb one of the main hosts is? All right. So now if we move west, I become even dumber. All right. So California.
Yes.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
I'm
gonna say Nevada. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nope.
Oh, no. Hold on. Utah.
Nope.
See, this is where I go dumb. All right, what is it?
Arizona.
Arizona. My massage therapist is going to move there. So then Nightmare Before Christmas is Nevada. I just had it in the wrong place.
Yes.
All right. Because I just know that it's close to California. I didn't know which direction. All right. So then A Christmas Story is Utah.
Yep.
All right. Again, I only know that it's close to Nevada, so we had already ruled out one, so I got the other one. A Christmas Carol is Montana, am I right? Or is that Kansas? Or is it neither?
That's South Dakota.
South Dakota, I'm completely wrong on everything. So then, but wait, hold on. Christmas Vacation, that's Kansas then, right?
No.
Dang it. June would be so upset. What is that?
That's Nebraska.
Nebraska. I've been there. I should know what it looks like on a map. But I have a GPS, so I don't need to know. All right. So, sorry, folks. This is, like I said, this is where I prove how dumb I am.
No. Go one more down.
Go one more down?
Yes.
Kansas.
That's Kansas.
All right. We finally found Kansas on the map. And Kansas, you have a dumb movie. It's a Wonderful Life. Who watches a movie that's 60 years old?
But technically, It's a Wonderful Life is part of the much larger family of Christmas Carol.
All right. I am a fan of Christmas Vacation. I like that.
Yeah, that's a very important.
Now, I'm actually surprised Miracle on 34th Street didn't find a higher percentage.
I don't like Miracle on 34th Street.
Now, there have been several versions. I like the Dylan McDermott version, or as people know him, Dr. McDreamy. So I like him in that version. I've seen it quite a bit. My wife likes that one.
When you said Dylan McDermott, my mind immediately went to Dylan Moran instead.
Oh.
So I was like, for a moment there, before my mind kicked in, I was like, oh yeah, different guy. I was like, I'd like to see a Miracle on 34th Street with Dylan Moran. Hopefully it's Santa.
Now, folks, you guys who have been paying attention to the podcast for a while know that Colin and I went to go see Dylan Moran in St. Louis.
Yes.
And coming up in February, I think is when the tickets are for.
Yes.
We are going to go see Seinfeld.
Yes.
We are going to go see Seinfeld at the second showing because we weren't going to pay $150 a ticket.
Right.
Now, my wife evidently wants me to go see more comedians because now she's emailed me going, hey, Ron White is coming to UIS. And I'm like, you know what? I saw him when he was here with the blue collar tour when they were first starting out.
Yeah.
I saw Larry the Cable Guy before he made a name for himself. You know, that's when they were. Bill Engvall he was becoming a name, but wasn't a name yet. And so, you know, I liked that.
Yeah.
That was great seeing them then. I don't know if I want to go see just him now. If I want to go see just Ron White now.
No.
Especially since he's gone through yet another divorce. You know, I'm sure that's going to be all that there is there. So.
Yeah.
Not, I don't think that's going to be in the viewing cards right now.
Now, Frosty the Snowman, make a good guess who that's.
I got to find it first.
Upper left.
Upper left. All right. Let's see here. It is.
Okay, How the Grinch Stole Christmas down below it.
Uh-huh.
That's Wyoming.
Okay, so is that one Montana?
That's Montana.
All right. Because the Santa Claus here, Virginia. No? Completely wrong side of the country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Virginia is, where most of the Civil War happened.
Yes.
Next to D.C.
I thought maybe they went west. You know, maybe we just had some. Maybe they were separatists.
Also, it was in the South, and that's very not.
It could have been. You never know. Names change over time. Maybe at one point that was known.
Okay, so I can give you a really easy hint there.
Yes.
If you want a potato,
It's Idaho.
it's Idaho.
Really? For some reason, my dumb mind thought it was much more central. So, see, folks, again, this is how you find out how dumb your heroes really are. All right. That's enough of me looking stupid. I know. Many of you are saying we already knew. But I don't know. Let's talk a little bit about Christmas movies. So you said that some of those you enjoyed and some of you did. Some of them you didn't.
Yes.
Are there any must-watch movies or television shows for you during the Christmas season?
Well, there's many versions of A Christmas Carol that are must-watches.
Right. You said your family actually collects different versions.
Yes, we have versions we don't watch because they're terrible, but we still have them.
Well, like I remember last year when we were doing the movie review and we watched an All-American Christmas Carol or something like that. It was basically a Trailer Park Christmas.
Yes.
And you said we've decided this is the worst version yet.
No, it wasn't the worst version yet. The worst version of Christmas Carol stars Rich Little.
Okay.
As every character.
All right. No, I don't want that. I don't want that either. But
we also don't like the Kelsey Grammer version.
I don't blame you on that one.
Christmas Story, Elf's good. It's not my favorite, but other people in my family make a point of seeing Elf. Let's see, Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, see, that has a regular runtime all year round at my house.
Yeah.
So Christmas isn't special for that one. Me personally, now I watched it the other night, and then last night or 2 nights ago, my wife and I were painting some stuff at the kitchen table, and I said, hey, do you want to watch this? I make it a point to watch it every Christmas. And it's season 5, episode 11 of MacGyver. It's an episode called The Madonna.
Is it on the list, I wonder?
It's probably not on the list, but it is one of those things that every year I watch it. Every single year I watch it, And every single year, somebody comes by, takes a handful of onion dust, and throws it right in my face. All right? Because I can't help it. As many times as I've seen it, some things still get to me. And this is a show from the 80s. All right? But damn it if they didn't just pull at your heartstrings right at the right point. All right? It's all centered around... MacGyver and the Challenger Center. You remember the Challenger Center, right, Colin?
I think so.
And this is the first Christmas after Booker was killed, and then Father Lafferty, his childhood friend, the Madonna gets stolen from their church, and it's just you learn more about MacGyver's mom and how she passed away and he wasn't there, and I mean it just pulls at your heartstrings. I can't explain it, but that's a must watch for me. My wife has many must watch, which is why right now on the DVR, and they just keep growing every year. Hallmark Channel. All right, this is an urgent plea to Hallmark Channel. I know you don't really listen to heterosexual males. We're not your key demographic. All right, but for the love of all that is holy, stop making movies. All right. My DVR can't handle it anymore. All right. There are 114 Christmas movies recorded on my DVR from Hallmark. All right. And they will stay on there and only be added to every single Christmas. So much so that I bought an external drive just to move them there. All right. I read an article because I wondered how many Christmas movies Hallmark had.
Uh-huh.
All right. Hallmark Channel for Christmas makes 32 movies a year. 32, Colin. 32 movies.
That's one more movie than there are days in December.
All right. 32 movies a year for Christmas. All right. And get this. You know what their production budget is for each movie? $2 million. We have reviewed movies on this show that cost less than that. That cost more than that. And that cost less than that. That don't have the production value. All right. Especially ones that cost more than that. Don't have the production value nor the reach of these Hallmark movies. All right. And guess how long? How long do they have to film? Would you guess a Hallmark Christmas movie?
1 week.
Hello. Welcome to PTR.
Hello?
Hello. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm on my way.
Okay.
I'm doing 80 in a 55, but don't tell the cops. I'm on my way.
Okay, no problem. Sounds good.
Oh, my bitch has got come off. Hurry! Get out of my way! I'm late for PTR, you test driving motherfucker! All right. I'll be there shortly.
All right, no problem, Mike.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.
Does he have some beans in the car with him?
I don't know if he has beans or not. But the production time for a movie for Hallmark, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Is that including shooting time? Or is that just editing time?
That everything. Start to finish, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Can you believe they put out an hour and a half movie for $2 million in 3 weeks? That is ridiculous. A lot of the garbage we watch on Netflix and Amazon take longer.
Yeah.
All right.
Which brings up the question, just how bad... Okay, which one is worse?
Well,
If they could pull that off What is the excuse for these movies?
Let me put it this way, all right? So, $2 million a movie, 32 movies a year.
Uh-huh.
All right? $64 million.
Uh-huh.
All right? How much money are they making in the month of December on just ads? Because, that's where all their money comes from. They have very few DVD sales of these movies. All right? So, how do you recoup $64 million? There have been big budget box office films which make less than $64 million.
Well, yeah.
All right? How do you recoup all that money in 30 days and still turn a profit? And a big one. Because I guarantee if they didn't make at least that much again, they wouldn't do it the next year.
Well, remember, this is a TV station, cable station.
Yes.
Okay.
A premium cable station. You don't get it with just any subscription.
Right. So, but they still have ads, right?
Yes.
So,
but they actually don't have that many.
The thing is, they pre-sell
Oh,
the
yeah.
ads. So they've already made the money
Yeah.
before they make the movie.
Yeah. I bet those things are priced like Super Bowl ads. All right. It's just incredible how much they make. I'm certain of that. It's ridiculous. All right. Now, what I found while I was researching this, because I have nothing better to do, ABC Family, who's now Freedom Television, used to own Christmas. All right. It used to be called ABC Family 25 Days of Christmas. All right. And it started with this movie called like Holiday in Handcuffs. And they owned it for like 2 years. And then Hallmark said, we can do this better. And they started off with I think they started off with like 20 days, 20 movies. It's just insane what Hallmark is doing. And nobody else is doing it. And I mean, I don't know that we have the marketplace for that many damn Christmas movies, but it is. You would think after 10 years now that they've been doing this, they would run out of topics. But I'll be damned if somebody can't get stuck in a town or not able to get to a town, supposedly to their boyfriend or fiance or whomever who isn't just perfectly right for them. And somehow they end up with, the wrong, the Mr. Wrong or, Mr. Misunderstood or the sensitive silent type or the artistic one who just gets them in the end, and they can't help but fall for.
What's funny
the
is
loner who's left alone on Christmas.
These probably have, actors probably get reused a bit.
Oh, all the time.
It's
all
probably,
the women.
It's probably all directed by the same people. It's all shot by the same camera people and lighting people. So, you know how sometimes you're watching a movie and there'll be like different groups of people and it's going back and forth to see what some groups are, and then it all comes together at the end. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that you could take a bunch of these Hallmark movies and edit them together into something that looks like that.
Okay, so here are 14 forgotten stars who got stuck slumming it on the Hallmark Channel. All right?
Hey, money's money.
Candace Cameron Bure.
Well, okay.
All right. Now she's in Fuller House, but
What really is that any better?
She's made 2 this year. 2 different Christmas movies this year. Dean Cain, I actually haven't seen him in any this year. Lacey Chabert, which she is in a lot. She's from Party of Five, if you don't know who she is. All right. Danica McKellar, if it involves a prince or a king or a maid or a clockmaker, that she's in there.
I was gonna say, you could probably make a movie, edit all these things together where she's all of those things.
Could be. Lori Loughlin, in addition to being the garage sale mystery lady on Hallmark Mysteries, she's also, and on Fuller House. I think Netflix and they may have a trade deal, right? Which, by the way, you'll notice recurring cast members from Full House. Yeah, so Lori Loughlin, Candace Cameron Bure, both from Full House, right? Now this year they also added what's her Stephanie, whoever played Stephanie, that girl from Full House. She's in one. She's off meth now, thank goodness. Julie Benz, Jack Wagner is in them now. Terry Polo, Natasha Hestridge, Autumn Reeser, Lauren Holly. She's in a lot of them. She came from Dumb and Dumber, if you guys don't remember that one. Tom Cavanaugh. Most recently, you will know him from The Flash. All right? Which I don't know why he's not giving all this up, because The Flash has got to be pretty decent money.
Yeah, it's on the CW, though. That's just one step over Hallmark.
Tori Spelling. Patrick Duffy makes recurring roles. All right? So all these guys are recurring characters on different Hallmark ones. It's just... In fact, here... Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas, 8 of your favorite returnings. So again, Lacey Chabert, Rachel Boston, Gregory Harrison, Lori Loughlin, Alicia Witt. Alicia Witt is in a lot of them. So she was in one in 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013. I know she's in one this year. So like every year she's in at least one. Mm-hmm. All right. And by the way, if you want the formula for this, like I said, if you got a maid, if you got somebody who just got laid off, you got somebody who, I don't know what the hell the other thing could be. I don't know, Mike. We're talking Hallmark movies.
Hallmark.
Yep. Hallmark.
So after you got off the phone, Mike, I had to ask the question to Shaggy. So, does Mike have any beans in his car?
So, Mike, you weren't listening while you were driving, right?
No.
All right, I'm going to ask you this question then, because you didn't hear this. How many movies do you think Hallmark makes every year for December?
How many they make, or how many they?
How many do they make?
These are really sticky tonight.
How many new movies do you think Hallmark makes every year for Christmas?
12.
32.
32 new movies every year for Christmas.
Yes.
Where did you get this factoid from?
From Hallmark's Wikipedia page. They make anywhere between 30 and 32 every year for the last 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
All right. Now, guess what the budget is for each movie?
$10 million.
$2 million. $2 million. Now, guess how long they have. I'm going to assume it's just shooting, not editing. Guess how much time they have to shoot a 1.5 hour movie?
30 days.
3 weeks. So you're pretty close.
Close.
You're close. But think about how long it takes to shoot a regular movie. You know, how long did they film Avengers? Yes, Mom
right.
Blair, you're right. It is. Well, there's probably 3 scripts in total, but yes.
Okay,
exactly.
no. Here's the basic ones, okay? Company getting shut down, so girl have to convince guy not to shut company down.
I forgot that
Save
one.
the town,
Yep.
right? Old romance rekindling.
Okay, not a whole lot of those this year.
Or you have long lost family finds member reunites or something, or lost loves reunite.
No, not that. But you get poor either maid or whatever recently fired girl gets a job at Palace and wins Prince. That one, there every year at least one, usually 2 or more.
Yeah.
So but all those, and then of course, like I said before, girl or guy gets stuck in town trying to get out, meets one that they mesh with, that they argue against for 50 minutes of the whole movie.
Yeah.
You know. So, and then the other thing you missed was the let's see how stupid Shaggy is at geography.
Okay, so I have a question that was brought up after I hung up the phone. Or
Okay.
Kim hung up the phone, whatever. Do you only turn the broadcast machine on the day of a show?
Yeah, usually.
Okay. Can we turn it on the night before or the morning of?
Yeah, I need to get in the habit of doing that.
Because this is what, 3 weeks in a row?
Well,
Or 3 shows in a row that installing updates?
well, talk to Microsoft and tell them not to install so many damn updates in a 2-week time frame.
Oh, sure. I might as well just talk to all the hackers that just robbed all the Bitcoin to say, hey, stop exploiting. So
Did they rob the Bitcoin?
Yeah, somebody raps about the Bitcoin.
Oh, cool. Then I sold in time.
Oh, not all of the
So-
Bitcoin,
well,
just some.
no, it was nice hash
Oh, okay.
exchange got hacked for 68 million in Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. Well, I use Coinbase.
They said Nice Hash said that their Bitcoin wallet was hacked for 68 million. Their wallet. Wait a second. If I'm banking, the banker don't keep my money in his wallet. How is $68 million worth of anything kept in one spot?
Well, it's not really there.
Okay, here's the problem, Mike. To explain it, we would have to explain Bitcoin.
We'd have to use charts
and we are
and
not
graphs.
we're not going down that rabbit hole.
And before I could explain Bitcoin, I would have to understand Bitcoin.
I'd have to understand blockchain.
Yeah. And I don't.
Yeah, I know.
And
Here's
I don't
the
have
best,
any Bitcoin.
No, neither do I. And here's the best way that I can explain it.
And if someone wants to explain it, if somebody
Well-
really wants to explain it technically, they can get off my lawn.
Okay, well, no, I don't remember the name of the damn program, but everybody was running it at one point to solve equations.
Oh, like SETI at home.
Well, that's one. That's like one example, but there was another one I remember, and like NHB had its own team.
Sorry. She started
And-
yapping.
What the hell is it called?
Oh, I don't know.
It's folding
you
at
had-
home.
Folding at home. That was it. So it's basically a more complex version of folding at home, but you get paid to do these for the time you do these computations. But you're paid in a digital currency that currently is worth like $18,000 a coin. And when this crap first started, you could have bought it for $5 a coin.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. All right. So I wanted to play around with it a little bit. And so I did. I bought a little Bitcoin. I have a little Ethereum. I got some Litecoin, whatever. So I bought into it. And then it did grow a little bit. Now, as with any investment, it can grow, it can shrink. You should only put in whatever you're willing to lose. Okay? I got lucky. I did make a little bit of money on it. All right? So then I did the smart thing. I do what people tell you to do. I took my initial investment out. All right? All the money that I had put in, I took out. So the only thing left was profit.
Uh-huh.
All right? So now I just have the profit going. And so guess what? If I lose anything, it wasn't there to begin with. It wasn't real to begin with. But this morning, I said, oh, Bitcoin's over $17,000. I'm going to cash out a little bit of what I have while the price is high because I don't have that much to begin with. But if I can take $50 out, even when it goes down low, I'll still be better off.
Right?
So that's what I did. I took out $50 worth of my profit today and said, hey, cool, I'm good. It can crash now. I don't care. I made $50 because I actually took some of my profit away. You know?
And either I'm having a stroke or the video quality just got really bad.
Everything's
Now it popped back.
yeah,
Okay.
everything's looking okay here.
Now, I just got the weirdest spam message I've ever gotten.
Is there a prince?
No. The subject is Christmas.
Uh-huh.
The text of the spam is, "Hello, your friendship and your love is the best Christmas gift that I've gotten. May the glow of the Christmas candles brighten your day. Best regards, Patricia." And then it has an address.
Oh, cool.
That's it. It's in Delaware.
Well,
I'm looking at this going, there's no attachments.
I did not put a dating profile up for you in Delaware.
Yeah. I was looking at this going, is this supposed to just be them hoping they'll email back and then they'll start something?
Could be.
But why put an address at the bottom of it?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know.
very weird.
Don't have an answer for that one. All right, so now that Mike is here, I think we should do.
Yes.
Let's see here.
Okay, we started about 6:40, so we are now 1 hour into the show.
Oh, we're on 1 hour in. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So I'll tell you what. I have something I need to do.
Okay.
So you and Mike carry the show for just a little bit.
Okay.
All right. I have to go out and get something real quick.
Okay. So, Colin,
Yes.
let's talk about this whole Disney Netflix fiasco thing that's going on here, because
Yep.
apparently, so there's a whole thing with Redbox, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so Disney sued Redbox, hoping to
Yep.
block digital movie sales, which one could argue is Disney protecting their future streaming service.
No, that's not the streaming.
Okay.
Okay, let's take a step back. Let's get through the history of what happened.
Okay.
So, years ago, we had just DVDs.
Right.
And then people said, I want to back up my DVD because if it gets scratched, I'm going to lose it. So they justified being able to crack the encryption on a DVD by saying, okay, I need to back it up. So the studios, including Disney, said, okay, we don't agree with you, but you've now created a legal case for needing to do that. So what we will do is we will include a digital copy of the movie with the movie so that you don't have to hack anything to get a backup of the movie that you have purchased from us.
Now, was Disney the first to start include digital copies?
No.
Okay.
Because Disney and then a lot of the other studios did it like haphazardly, and then they came up with Ultraviolet. And
Right.
then a lot of those Ultraviolet things have now merged in with Disney as well.
Happy birthday to you.
Colin.
Happy
there you go.
birthday to you.
Colin.
Happy birthday, dear Colin.
Colin.
Now you get to eat a wax soap cupcake.
Thank you very much.
Yay.
We'll get to that in a bit. So, yeah, that's why we started getting digital copies.
Okay.
So what happened is that Redbox decided, because originally we had like discs that came with, that had like a digital copy of it that you could copy from the disc. And then as the new streaming stuff has shown up and Amazon and stuff like that, they started saying, okay, fine. We'll just put a code in with the movie that you can just go online, go like to Amazon, put the code in, and add the backup of the movie to your library online. So so you don't need to hack our stuff. We'll just include it as part of the price, and you can just stick it in there. So what Redbox has started doing is they're started. Okay, we've bought retail copies of the movie, and we put the discs inside our vending machines for people to rent the disc. But we have this piece of paper with a code on it.
Yeah, and the reason why they bought the copies themselves is because they don't have a distribution deal
Right.
with Disney.
Right.
So,
So what Redbox decided to do is start selling the code without the disc. So they keep the disc and they sell you the code. And then later they'll throw the disc away or they'll sell the disc to somebody else.
Okay.
But the problem is that now you've taken something which is supposed to be a backup for the original purchaser of the disc, and now you've started splitting the two on purpose to say, well, now I actually bought, instead of buying a copy of the movie with a non-transferable license to have a backup of it, now I've started selling that non-transferable license to somebody else.
Well, and the question is it termed that way?
Yes.
Is it termed in the sales that you're buying a digital backup copy, or is it that you're buying that included in the purchase price is a digital version?
From a legal standpoint, I'm not sure about your answer. Where I was going while you were gone is through the history of how we got the codes in the first place.
Yeah.
So the purpose of the code is supposed to be a non-transferable backup. Now, whether or not that's accurately in the documentation of the disc on the outside of the copy, all that kind of stuff.
Because sometimes the way that they market it is, hey, here's a disc and.
Yes.
It's an and. It's not an or.
Right.
It's an and. And that turns it into two products for the price of one.
I think what they're saying is that the digital copy belongs solely to the original purchaser of the retail copy of the disc. So if you buy it, we have no problem with saying, okay, I'm going to use my code, get my digital copy, and then sell the disc. That sequence is okay. What they don't like is you getting the disc and selling the code. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, but
Whether they have any legal leg to stand on is a completely separate question.
All right, so see, I thought it was that there was part of this, like the ulterior motive was to make it harder to get these digital copies, which would then make it more enticing to sign up for Disney's soon-to-be released streaming service.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with that.
All right, so yeah, I mean it's a stretch. I get that, but
I don't think they're going to be doing
news.
that. I don't think Disney's actually going to be launching a streaming service.
well, but they said they are.
But in other news, they're really close to owning Hulu. So if Disney owns Hulu, they won't have to.
They won't have to build an infrastructure and everything else out.
Right.
Well, and this ties to the story that I posted up today that apparently Marvel, which is now part of the Disney umbrella,
Yep.
is already making plans for expanding the Marvel universe because it looks like Disney is buying 21st Century Fox.
Yes, this is why they would have Hulu.
Okay, they would have Hulu, but from the movie standpoint, they also get the X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Yes, they would get the rights back to X-Men and Fantastic Four. Which means that only Spider-Man would not be... And even Spider-Man, they've partnered with Sony to basically produce the Spider-Man movies for Sony. So at that point, you basically have Marvel having 100% control again of Marvel movies. Right. Which I think they also said that. Let's see. So we have the two new Avenger movies coming in the next couple of years, which are like Part 1 and Part 2. There'll be
Infinity War.
There'll be another Avenger movie after that one, and that will be the end of the current movie franchise.
Oh, really? Because I've read that they have 20 more Marvel movies planned.
Yes,
now that could mean new characters.
These are the full Avenger movies with everybody together. So that's there's a lot of years here. They have we have Avenger movies next year, and then probably like a couple years another Avenger movie, and then a couple years another Avenger movie. And once we hit that one though, that ends the current movie universe.
I think the best reaction to this X-Men was Chris Evans' tweet, where he was pitching, can we get a Captain America, Human Torch, Freaky Friday style movie.
You know what? I hated Chris Evans after that first when he was the Human Torch.
Really? I liked him as
I hated
cocky,
it.
Johnny Flame.
You know what?
You know what?
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No. Son of a bitch.
I did not like Chris Evans, and when I first saw her he was going to be Captain America, I was kind of pissed off. But then when I saw him in the movie be so amazing as Captain America, then that redeemed him in my eyes as an actor.
And see, I kind of felt the same way, but his redemption for me was in the movie Sunshine, which was it's kind of a cult type movie. It was same cast or same guy that did 28 Days Later, and it starred Rose Byrne, Cillian Murphy, the dude, the father from Fear the Walking Dead. No, I don't think we did because I haven't found it on any streaming service recently. Chris Evans was in it, and basically it's a ship that they're going to try and restart the sun.
Right.
And the science is completely wrong, but the movie itself, him in that movie actually was a redemption for me. And what was the other movie he was in that I liked, but critics generally Push. Critics generally panned that.
He was in Push?
Yeah. Wasn't he the main character in Push? The main male character? Running around with Dakota Fanning?
Yeah, he was Nick Gant. Yeah, so he was. Damn, I gotta watch that again. I really like that movie. I like that one and I like Jumper. They were both about the same.
Jumper I didn't like, but that's because I liked the book more.
Okay.
Jumper I didn't like because it had Hayden Christensen in it.
All right, so I gotta watch.
It's a very, very good book, but everything that was in the movie with the bad guys, they don't exist in the books.
Yeah. So okay.
Okay. Before we go on, so I have to tell my birthday story.
Yes,
Please do.
Some may have already seen it on the Facebook, but it actually has some expansion that only matters to PTR.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was in Orlando this weekend, and
Yes, you were.
Monday night I was at was called the Moonlight Magic event at Epcot, which was for DVC members, Disney Vacation Club members, and so what it was is everybody who wasn't there for the party had to leave the park, so it had the park to ourselves. And that was fun. We had free food, free hot dogs, basically, chips and hot cocoa and stuff like that. And several of the rides were still open. So, it started at 10:30 and went all the way to 1 a.m. So, to end the day at 12:30, 12:30 a.m., middle of the night, I went on Spaceship Earth, which is the big globe that everybody thinks of as Epcot.
Yep.
And for those who have never ridden it, you're on these little cars going on a track, and it has Judi Dench talking about the history of communications. Everything from cavemen writing on caves to newspapers and stuff like that. But when you first get on the ride, there's a screen there that asks you what language you use, and you click English. And if you don't, it automatically picks English for you. Right after I touched it here, it's 12:30 again, like middle of the night. Just after I hit English for the umpteenth time that I've ridden this ride, I realized I'd never pushed any of the other buttons. I have no idea what this ride does if you pick a different language.
I would have expected it talked in a different language.
But I don't know.
Okay.
So I decided I had to find out.
What did your sleep-deprived mind thought it would do? Would you think it would take you down a different track?
I had to find out. I knew I could look it up, but I was already there. So now it's 12:45, 12:50.
Yep.
The party is just about to end. Okay, party ends at 1:00. So I decided to go on the ride again. So I walk up to the ride, and I had to wait because most of the cars already had blue covers on them as they went by because they'd started to close down the ride. Obviously, the people working there were a bit slap happy and giddy because they were having trouble standing upright. And one of the employees on the car I was going to be using was like laying in the back seat, lounging on it or something. I don't know. Anyway, I get in it. I decide to pick German because, well, I don't know German, but at least I know German has some English. English and German share some words. So I thought that might be fun. I might pick up some words.
Yeah, you do know a few German words. Sig Heil, Heil Führer. I mean, you know those.
So
I think everybody knows those.
So the answer is yes, all of the words on the screen turn to German, and you get a German woman talking. You still have all the cars around you. You still have Dame Judi Dench talking. Mm-hmm. So you have a German woman trying to outshout Judi Dench all through the entire ride.
Welcome to the fatherland.
So I'm riding this ride. I am the only person on this ride. Okay?
Okay.
There is nobody in front of me. There's no one behind me. It is now after 1:00.
Uh-huh.
The clock just changed. I'm on the my phone buzzes. I'm sorry, my wrist buzzes because my Apple Watch buzzes. I look at it and it says, "Carlos and Isabel just wrote on your timeline on Facebook." And I look at it going, "Why are they writing on my Facebook?" It's like, and then I realized it's midnight Central Time. I have just turned 40. So there I am, sitting on my own private Spaceship Earth ride, listening to the ride in German, and I have just turned 40. And there's nobody in sight, just me.
And our Middle Eastern listeners have wished you a happy birthday.
And I just started laughing my ass off because, man, it was the most surreal, hilarious thing ever. So that was the very beginning of the day. We got back to the room, we slept, woke up, went to Animal Kingdom, saw the new Avatar Pandora section. We had a fast pass. If we had spent 2 hours in line, we would have been furious because that was the most boring boat ride ever. Got over to Magic Kingdom, had lunch at one of my favorite restaurants, which is Skipper's Canteen. Had a whole fried fish, which was a snapper.
Mm-hmm.
And then got on Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
Haunted Mansion broke while we were on the ride. We had to be evacuated.
Oh.
It was the part right before the cemetery where you're going down the hill on your back.
Okay, I don't think
that's where we got stuck, which was great for me. But my dad is, he's over 6 feet tall, so he doesn't really quite fit in those cars. But so I got to walk through Haunted Mansion with the lights turned on, shooting with my phone what it all looks like with the lights turned on and backstage and stuff. So that was wonderful. That's how I know that the floors at Haunted Mansion are actually covered with straw. So, but it was hilarious as we're walking out. There's these management types apologize to the people going out. I'm like, apologize? I would have paid extra. Then we went, because of that, we got a fast pass, went on the Jingle Cruise, which is what the Jungle Cruise is during Christmas.
Okay.
And then we had to get back to the resort to get our car to drive to the airport for our 9:50 flight back to St. Louis, at which point we got to St. Louis at about 11:30, 11:50, somewhere in there. And then I had to drive from St. Louis back to Springfield. So I got home finally at 1:30 a.m. So it was almost between late night Epcot to late night getting home. I was very tired. I was very, very happy we decided not to have the show yesterday night.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would have been the Mike and Shaggy having a show while Colin
Oh, Colin
passed out.
Passed out. Well,
So the anti-Colin show.
yeah.
Or, no, that's pretty much the Colin show.
Okay.
Probably would have just as much content from Colin.
So you had an adventurous but fun birthday then.
Yes, we're not going to do that again, where we
okay.
try to pack that much into one day.
Yeah.
Because, let's put it this way: we were very cranky driving back to the airport.
I bet.
And we were trying not to go on the tollways.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up on the tollway accidentally, which we're probably going to get a charge from that because we didn't actually have change.
Yeah, I got a ticket in the mail from Indiana 4 months later going, hey, you didn't pay your toll. And I'm like, I did, but I guess I don't have a receipt, so I don't have any choice. Guess I have to pay you twice.
Yep.
So
But,
this time when I went, I got, this time when the wife and I went up to Michigan, I'm like, I'll take a receipt.
Yeah.
I'll take a receipt every time I go through a damn toll from now on, and it just gets put in the glove box with every other piece of paper.
You guys don't have Easy Pass?
Yeah, we do.
I don't go to Michigan, but once every 4 years. Why would I have Easy Pass?
I think the same pass that works in Illinois works in Michigan.
Oh, we don't have tolls around here. I mean, I don't
Yeah, we
even
don't
go
have
up to
any-
Chicago.
We don't have any tolls here.
No,
We have to
Okay.
drive.
we're not a communist state, so we
Oh,
don't.
No,
we
we're a
don't-
communist state, but the communists are up.
We're a socialist state.
We have-
Everybody pays for the roads, not just the people that use them.
We have three.
Listen.
We have to drive like 3 hours.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. You think the toll money goes back into the roads?
Wow.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. That actually has nothing to do with communists. It's 100% capitalism.
All right. Well, here, since that was a good joke.
But they're probably communists who are the capitalists who own, because they're probably like Chinese.
Yeah. All right. So here, I was asked for these at work, and I think they're going to work out well. Here are 21 dad jokes that you can use during Christmas. So if there's a little bit of a break in the Christmas festivities and you want to give somebody a groaning laugh, here are some good ones. So, Mike, what kind of motorcycle does Santa ride?
What?
A Harley Davidson. Colin, why are Christmas trees so bad at knitting? They always drop their needles.
Okay. It's not a very effective one because it took me a while to figure out what the heck that was supposed to mean.
Mike, what did the ginger man put on his bed to keep warm at night? A cookie sheet. Colin, what do you call Santa's most impolite reindeer? Rude Adolf.
Actually, I realized that after I said no.
I was thinking venison, but go ahead.
Mike, what do you get when Santa accidentally goes down a chimney when a fire's lit?
What?
Crisp Kringle.
Guess
Colin,
you needed a new slinky for that.
what did Santa give his depressed elf friend for Christmas? An elf help book.
Oh.
Mike, how can you tell snowmen apart from snow women?
The snowballs.
Yes. Colin, what do you call Santa's helpers? Subordinate clauses.
Oh.
I think that's the most intelligent one you've had so far.
Mike, what do Santa's elves go to school to learn?
Why am I alphamentary or something? Go ahead.
The alphabet.
The alphabet.
Colin, what do snowmen call their kids? Children. Why did Frosty want a divorce, Mike? His wife was a total flake. Colin, what do you call a bankrupt Santa? Saint Nicholas. Which one of Santa's reindeer likes to clean the most?
Comet?
Yes. What's the biggest difference between the regular alphabet and the Christmas alphabet? The Christmas alphabet has no L. What do you call a kid who doesn't believe in Santa? Rebel without a clause. And what do you call someone who's afraid of Santa Claus? Claustrophobic. So there you go. There's some dad jokes for your Christmas get-together. There's a lot more. But those
I'm
were
sure
some
there
ones.
are.
Okay, let's talk about 80s movies that CNET thinks need a reboot.
Oh, God, this article made me so mad.
Yeah, we went through a list similar to this.
Yeah.
And I actually, before I said anything, I went through this list to make sure it wasn't the same. And I don't think it is.
It's probably not.
But I can tell you that pretty much every movie on this list, I disagree with.
Yeah, they've talked about doing reboots on all these, and I think we've brought it up before, and we universally disagree.
Yeah.
So
That's
this
fun
one,
to do.
this one I just noticed the other day was missing from my Plex, and I immediately had to go and download it and get it added. The Last Starfighter.
This is on every reboot list known to man.
Yeah.
And the answer is always an unequivocal no.
The basic plot, sure, that's fun. Let's do the same basic plot again. But we don't need this particular movie redone.
What's interesting is, after I watched the movie, I somehow found a link that was a behind the scenes and original script changes link. Did you know that Alex's name was supposed to be Skippy? And the girl's name was supposed to be Penny. Not only that, but they were supposed to live in the suburbs, not in a trailer park.
Yeah, those are all good changes that were made.
Well, the reason why they were made is because the director didn't want to be accused of ripping off from E.T.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg had just started to make a name for himself, and the director was afraid that if he had too many similarities, that they were going to accuse him of stealing ideas.
Well, that's a noble attitude that would not fly in today's Hollywood.
No, they would have ripped off. They wouldn't have even thought about it originally. But he said, listen, I had my screenplay already done by the time E.T. came out, but I went and I changed, I think he said he changed 60% of it. You know, just to make it less like E.T. and some of the other stuff that was coming out. He goes, because I didn't want a comparison drawn.
Yeah. And you know what? if it was anywhere close to E.T., he probably made good changes.
Yeah.
It's probably a better movie for that.
Yeah. I like this movie. I still like this movie. I still will watch this movie. It's still a good movie.
Yes.
I think I have the 25th anniversary edition on Blu-ray.
No.
Yeah, I do too.
Don't
know where it is, but I think I have it somewhere.
Oh no, I know where it is. It's probably still in the wrapper. I don't think I've ever watched the Blu-ray version because this to me, I put this in the section of my memory vault with Voltron. Okay.
Yeah.
I loved it as a kid. I loved it when I was younger, but I feel like if I were to watch it now, Voltron, trying to watch it now, I'm like, how did I think this was awesome?
Oh, Voltron, I refuse to watch. But this one, I still watch.
No, Voltron is still awesome. Especially the new ones. It was funny, but the special effects from Last Starfighter are so primitive that they still work.
Well, they were so primitive. Most of them, because this was the first movie, we talk about this all the time, to use significant amounts of CGI in the movie.
Right.
All right. They were so aggressive in CGI, most of them didn't make it on the screen because they weren't done in time.
Right.
The processing power was not enough to make it the way that they wanted it to. In fact, the special effects director had a model guy on standby because he said there's no way we're going to get the computer work done. We won't even get half of what we want to get done in the computers because they just can't crunch the numbers. They had done the work, and it was going to take 18 months to process all the polygons that they needed. And he goes, we only have 6. He goes, so I want to do this with models. And the director said, no, we're doing this in the computer. What we can get done, we can get done. If not, we'll scale it back. He said, I want it to be done in the computer. I don't want models. So,
yep.
It works.
It's so primitive. It's still it's definitely a low poly count, but there's a period between that where things look worse.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Where things just look like they were done on a PlayStation.
They took their analytics for how long things should take based off of Tron, which came out like a year earlier.
Yeah.
You compare the Tron CGI to this looks better in my mind. Tron looks like it was overlaid on purpose. It was for just effect. And since they did major scenes out of this, I think it looks better in context.
I think Tron is perfect for itself. Last Starfighter is perfect for itself. I think the animation for either of them would not have worked for the other.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, next movie.
This was just silly because I never understood this movie in the first place. That's The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
I watched it once.
And I know it's a cult favorite from some people.
Yeah. It's like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Some people love it.
Yep.
And they'll defend it till the ends of the earth as the best movie ever.
I just can't see doing a remake of a movie that's so idiosyncratic. No matter what you do, most people don't understand the first one, so they're never going to understand the reboot.
And
I want to see this sequel. I don't want to see a reboot. I want to see the sequel.
Yeah. A sequel's fine.
And most of the actors that were in it are still alive.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum's still around.
Jeff Goldblum, Buckaroo Banzai himself is still around. All right, so Peter Weller, Jeff Goldblum, Ellen Barkin, John Lithgow. You better hurry up because I don't know about John Lithgow.
He's not looking so great.
No. Most of the major characters are still around. So let's do a follow-up.
All right, next one. Prince of Darkness, horror movie. Never watched it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either. Not yet.
Although it looks like they took most of the cast from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
You got Big Trouble in Little China, and They Live. But, yeah, right. Don't
Next
bother.
movie. They made a sequel, universally bombed, War Games.
Yes, do not. No, you can't do this now.
Yeah, you can't.
Not in this political climate. You cannot do this now.
No.
All right? Just look at when they rebooted Red Dawn. How much trouble that was up against.
It's a script that only worked in its original time.
Yes.
Yes. All right, next up, Goonies.
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Although, as I look through this, their blurb here,
They're
I'll
talking.
agree with this far. Okay.
People crave the 80s still.
No, I would go as far as to say a new Goonies type movie is a good idea.
Well, we never got to see them going after Willie's ship. Again,
I don't want to see a sequel.
Had they done a sequel at the time, it would have been fine.
Sequel at the time was fine. I don't want to see a sequel of grown-up Goonies and their kids or whatever crap they come up with.
No.
But the idea of more movies with just kids doing something like this,
No.
I'd be happy with a Goonies type movie.
We've had quite a few.
Yes.
All right.
I'm not saying we don't have them. I'm saying I'm always happy having more.
Next up, I haven't watched it in forever. I forget so much about it. Ice Pirates.
So help me God. You might as well remake Robot Jocks while you're at it. No.
No. Although, technically, half the movies that come out of Asylum is a remake of Ice Pirates.
Fair enough.
Next up, Willow.
Actually, they've been talking about trying to do a sequel.
Sequel is fine.
Yes.
Sequel is not reboot.
Right. Reboot's stupid. The entire point of it was Warwick Davis. So if you're doing a reboot, you'd be replacing Warwick Davis, which would be like... That'd be stupid.
That was a long movie when it came out for the time, though, wasn't it? Wasn't that ridiculously long? Because that was in the 80s when movies were an hour and a half, and that was a long time. Wasn't this like a 2:15 or something?
I don't know.
Next up.
If that's the factoid that you remember about this movie, we got a problem.
Well, sorry, that is. I think I only watched it once, maybe twice. Next up, a movie that I have watched a lot because my dad liked it. Krull.
That's the original.
Yeah,
the original fidget spinner right there.
Yes, it is. It's a fidget spinner of death.
I remember, not only did I love that movie, I loved the video game that was released. I remember playing at the bowling alley. This one, maybe.
You know what? There were a lot
now that I'm
of
thinking about it.
shortcomings in production on this film, so that could be solved by today's technology. Because you have to admit, the monster at the end looked like garbage.
Yeah. and Liam Neeson is really good at action movies nowadays. So.
The monster at the end of this looked like Chet from Weird Science.
Yes, he did.
When they turned him into poop.
Oh, Liam Neeson could go, I have a particular set of skills with this fidget spinner. That would be great.
Okay, what's this next one?
Oh, Gleaming the Cube, or as by its other name, A Brother's Justice, I think.
Yep. We've talked about this one many times, and you know what? Honestly,
this was one of the best movies with Tony Hawk in it. In a Pizza Hut truck.
I don't think you could do it. I really don't.
Couldn't do it today because this was another race movie. You know?
I mean, you could take the race out of it. Just the basic plot line: the brother gets killed, and good brother gets killed, and punk brother has to solve whatever. So you could take the race part out of it, and still have the same basic plot. The problem here is that skateboarding is too mainstream.
I'll tell you what, this movie made me want to bury giant concrete tubes in my backyard. And have
you were actually mad that your parents didn't buy a house that had a bomb shelter.
Yes. I mean, they didn't understand my need to have an underground layer to fix skateboards. Next up, Airplane.
No.
You can't redo any of these movies.
No.
All right. All right. We're going to go Short Circuit 2. Why would you redo the sequel? Why would you redo the sequel?
You can't. Listen, you can't do. We've talked about this when you can't reboot Short Circuit, period. Rebooting Short Circuit. Well, if you're going to do it, at least you can have like the Indian guy from Big Bang Theory.
Have a
No,
real
not
Indian
Aziz
guy.
Ansari. I know they all look alike.
So you want
We want an actual Indian guy playing an Indian guy. Although having a white guy playing an Indian guy, and an Indian guy playing a black guy, and then a black guy playing an Asian guy.
So you want Kunal Nayar?
Yes. Yes.
Can we have Melissa Rauch in it as well? Because I really just want to see her in more things.
Well, I guess here's a question. Instead of doing a full Short Circuit movie reboot, can they just do a half-hour-long reboot of Short Circuit in Big Bang Theory?
Oh, yeah. Wolowitz can create another robot to pleasure himself, and Kunal can fix it. There you go.
There you go. My biggest problem with the basic Short Circuit, fine. Reboot, I have no problem with that. However, Johnny Five is such an iconic character.
Need input.
That without that puppet, it'd kind of be like if they decided to do a remake of the original Muppet movie with a different Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
Now, here's my other problem. Is they got robots replacing everything now. Okay? So you give it a year or two, you will not have to CGI Johnny Five. Johnny Five is going to exist.
Well, Johnny Five existed in the first one. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. You mean a real Johnny Five would probably exist anyway.
Yes. I mean, did you see they got the robot at Boston Dynamics or whatever? The robot that was basically doing American Ninja Warrior flips and stuff?
Yep.
I mean, no, this is the beginning of the apocalypse. You got him and you got the other robot pole dancing in high heels, no less. This is a match made in hell, people.
All right, next up.
I've changed my mind on this one.
Gremlins. You now want a reboot?
I watched Gremlins recently, and
Yeah?
I realized it really hasn't aged that well.
Well, no, but that doesn't mean we need another one. Do you remember Gremlins 2?
I was just going to say, you do realize that the cure for this is to watch Gremlins 2, and then you realize just how great Gremlins really is.
I guess what I'm saying is I would not be adverse to an actual remake of the original Gremlins.
And reality, that was a Christmas movie.
Yes, that is a Christmas movie.
We didn't see it anywhere on our map. Nobody wants to watch Gremlins for Christmas.
I mean, what I'm saying is, what if they did an actual exact remake of Gremlins?
No, I just don't think so.
The puppets are fine.
A frame-by-frame remake of Gremlins?
Different actors.
Nah, I'm okay with it. I don't think that one has enough legs to be a movie anymore. I don't think the story is that great anymore.
The only way that this is going to happen is if there's a toy release to coincide with it around Christmas, where instead of these Hatchimals or whatever, they're gremlins that pop out. That's where they make that. So the movie is basically nothing more than an ad for the toys.
I'm not saying they should do. I mean, I'm not saying they would do this. I'm just saying if someone were to somehow magically decide to make an actual exact remake of Gremlins, I would not be mad at them.
All right. The next movie on the list, Evil Speak, I have never heard of.
No.
Neither have I, but I'm seeing the lesser known Clint Howard here. Mm-hmm. anything that gets him working, okay.
Yeah,
All right, next one. I think everybody's heard of Pretty in Pink.
that's just stupid.
They did a remake of this. They just did a darker version. It's called 13 Reasons Why, and it's available as a series on Netflix.
There you go.
And Iron Eagle, again, another movie I recently watched because I really like it.
Again, this is a movie that in this political climate, anything that has to do with war, unless something like this, where, okay, you release this movie and you're going to have every idiot kid in the world trying to sneak onto an Air Force base to climb into the cockpit of an F-16.
Now, this movie came out at the same time as Top Gun. And the only reason why this didn't do as well in the box office as it should have was because of that timing. Everybody wanted to see Tom Cruise on a beach. Nobody wanted to see, Louis Gossett Jr.
No, it's not just that. But you had the love story aspect of Top Gun, which drew the female audience.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
And besides that, I disagree with this. I don't want Samuel L. Jackson as Chappie.
No.
That's stupid.
No, absolutely not.
E.T.
No, you cannot remake it.
Yep.
E.T. only works in its original time frame.
Nope.
And I don't want a sequel of it either.
I don't want to. There's a good book.
We had a sequel of it.
There's a sequel. It's
It's
called
called Meat.
There's a sequel.
No, the sequel is called Meatballs Part 2.
No, the sequel to E.T. is a ride at Universal Studios.
Really? I'm the only one that saw Meatballs Part 2.
No.
You may have been the only one who saw Meat. Okay.
No.
I've not seen Meatballs, period.
No, we had one. It was called Mac and Me.
Oh, God.
And then we had another one, and it was a Star Wars episode.
I would just as soon sit through a Gnome Gnorm.
Okay.
Last one, The Flight of Dragons. I don't remember it.
I think the whole point of this list was for them to talk about fire dragons.
Yeah. That's just stupid.
Yep.
All right. Anyway. Now, I believe it is probably time for our patented double feature movie review.
Well,
Almost?
almost.
Okay, I do have this one.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Thank you, Steve. Not quite,
Okay.
because I think they're really supposed to start at 8:40.
Okay.
However,
Okay.
we could talk about the third movie. that I
Oh,
wanna talk about.
Mike, did you by chance have a chance? Oh, I never got it for you to watch. So you probably didn't watch the Hitman's Bodyguard.
Okay,
All right, so we're going to skip that.
we'll skip that.
What we will talk about is...
And we'll get that set up for you so we can talk about it next time.
All right, so... But if we need a little... But what we can talk about, Mike, you put this up here, is the service dog issue at a performance.
Yeah.
I actually have a dog thing to talk about too, so that's great. Let's talk about dogs.
So somebody now, anybody who listens to this show knows that I'm an animal lover, okay? And I agree that legitimate service dogs have a place in the community. However, the irony is not lost on me that someone decided to bring a service dog to see cats. Yes, a service dog in air quotes. That's why I said legit service dogs. Now, So I didn't read enough to know or find out if this is a legit service dog or if it is a support dog.
I don't think they actually interviewed the owner, so we don't really know.
But the dog ran up and started to chase one of the main characters in the play Cats. The irony is not lost on me.
Yeah, we have heard of everything from support dogs to support chickens. To
Right.
support
An actual
snakes.
service dog, well, legit service dog. There, you go through a lot of training. That's like a seeing eye dog. Okay, that's the most common kind of service dog you'll hear.
Yes.
But they have other service dogs that like are trained that they can open doors for like MS patients or wheelchair bound patient. They can pick up things for owners who can't reach or can't pick up the floor due to medical disabilities. They can bring medications or they can sense seizures before they happen.
Yep.
Those dogs go through specific training. Those are service dogs. Mm-hmm. Support dogs, emotional support dogs, while I am not going to debate their validity, I am going to debate their legal rights.
Yeah.
Like,
But I'm going to admit their training. They're not trained.
Exactly. They are not trained.
A service dog should have a special word that you have to use before it will go to the bathroom.
That, well, among other things, but
and,
yes.
And not chase actors
Not-
in a musical.
Yes.
When it comes down to what is and what is not a service dog, federal law is very clear. A service dog is defined in the U.S. Code of Federal Regulation is any dog who is individually trained to provide assistance to an individual with a disability. Service dogs, when accompanied by an individual with a disability of any kind, generally enjoy complete public access and may go with their disabled handler to almost any place non-disabled members of the public may go. There are some major exceptions: sterile medical or laboratory environments, churches, places of worship, and a couple others. In general, if a person with a wheelchair is allowed to be somewhere, a person with a service dog may also be there. Now, in order to be a service dog with public access, a dog must meet 3 points of law. Specifically trained to perform work or tasks that mitigate the handler's disability. Accompanied by a person with a physical, mental, developmental, or other disability. House-trained and under total control of the handler. All right, there's no other requirements. If a dog is not task-trained, working directly for an individual with a disability and under the direct control of the handler, it is not a service dog. That's emotional support animals work with an individual who needs comfort. They require no specialized training, have no public access, and can be any species. DOJ and HUD's Fair Housing Act does protect an owner's right to reside with their emotional support animal in accommodations that don't allow pets. With proper documentation, a person can fly with their ESA. Not a service dog. Facility dogs. Facility dogs are highly specialized therapy dogs who come in two flavors: dogs who provide extensive animal-assisted therapy and dogs who live on site to provide comfort to residents, patients, or visitors. So the dog you see at the retirement home or in the cancer ward or wherever, those are examples of facility dogs.
Yes.
Okay.
And facility dogs, I don't believe there is actual certifications require training for them.
Yeah, there is nothing here in emotional support animals, the definition of emotional support animals, listing anything about requirements to meet the definition. There's no training requirements. But there also, if you'll notice, there is no guarantee of them being able to be anywhere apart from reasonable accommodation within their residence, okay, and with proper documentation, the ability to travel. But it doesn't say anything about them being able to get into anywhere. All right? So that's the difference.
So, unrelated dog news. As we talked about last time, my sister got a rescue dog, which all we know is the dog came from Texas.
Uh-huh.
Now, dog likes chewing things.
Mm-hmm.
And, by the way, the dog was named Max.
Oh, didn't go with any of our suggestions?
No, ended up being Max. So, last week, she found Max chewing on an Advil. got it out of his mouth, threw it away, but then got really worried about it because, Advil and dogs don't mix. I mean, chocolate's bad, but Advil's much worse. So she called the emergency late night vet, and they told her to give the dog some hydrogen peroxide, told her what the dose to use, and wait 10 minutes, and then if he hasn't thrown up yet, give him one more dose, and then call them, let them know what's going on. So she did it. Dog didn't throw up. Called back to them. They're like, it wasn't enough of a dose anyway to really hurt him. It's just worse is to be some diarrhea. And then the dog eventually did throw up on the bed. So,
of course.
and then she had to go to the vet the next day anyway because it was the follow-up checkup after the initial tests.
Mm-hmm.
Because it takes that long for heartworms and stuff to actually take. So they needed to double check. And the vet's like, oh, so instead of just maybe having some mild diarrhea, they decided to let him have some mild diarrhea and throw up. It just says, yeah. So, anyway, that's just our little dog story. First off, in case you didn't know, keep Advil away from dogs. And don't necessarily trust late night vets.
And also now in this season, you also have to keep poinsettias away from dogs. That's bad for them.
We keep poinsettias away from the family because nobody in the family can stand them.
But as I understand, Mike, you can correct me because you're probably more up to date on this stuff than I am, but poinsettias are one of those poisonous plants for animals.
Yeah, and usually this is the time of year that let me see. Usually this is the time of year that you'll start seeing people sharing some of these plants that are poisonous. Let me see. Lilies are one of them. Tulips are actually common that are poisonous. But yeah, poinsettias are actually bad for dogs and cats.
Yeah, it says it can cause a stomach upset, but it's not necessarily a fatal poison. It's always a good idea to keep any type of irritant away from your animals.
Yeah.
So that's from the ASPCA.
Who I will trust for stuff like that. For other things, they can.
Yeah, apparently they have a hotline where you can call to ask about stuff like Advil and stuff, but they charge you.
Okay.
Yeah, they have an animal poison control line kind of thing, and you talk about like late night vets around by us. There are actually two 24/7 vets, but they are also specialty hospitals. So, like, they have the oncologist on staff, they have the orthopedist on staff, the optometrist. They have all of those veterinary specialists.
Right.
So their emergency vets, they also take, like, okay, my dog was hit by a car. Come in, no appointment. They actually have emergency room, so to speak. Charge you an arm and a leg, but they're a little. I trust them immensely.
Yeah. It just would have been happier if they'd said it's probably not. It's not a bad dose to start with.
Yeah.
Instead of letting her still worry about it for 20 minutes before saying, "Oh, it's actually not a bad dose." Oh.
Yeah. The hard part there is you get that owner that calls up and it's like, "Oh, my dog just ate an Advil." Well, what kind of dog? He's a mix. Well, how big is he? 20 pounds. Meanwhile, the dog is actually like 40 pounds.
He literally is 20 pounds, exactly.
Well, at least in Jersey, you get a lot of these idiot owners that don't know the difference.
Yeah.
So, and then in Jersey, they'd be lawsuit happy. So, oh, you told me this. You didn't ask the right questions. It's your fault. I want $1 million. Because Fluffy twitches now.
Yeah, not just Jersey.
Okay.
We are a litigious society.
Yes. But, dogs are only worth what they're worth.
Yep.
All right. So before we get to the movie stuff, Colin, you shared a link. Now, I don't think we should go through all 100 of these. Maybe we go through the top 10 Christmas themed TV episodes of all time.
Definitely don't want to go through all 100 best TV things. They're just partially it was, and we can go through this again next time. This is partially just to go through yourself to see if there, any in here that tickle your memory.
Well, right off the bat, at the very bottom of the list, number 100. I remember this one clear as day. Saved by the Bell. Home for Christmas, where they're working in the mall and Zach falls in love with the homeless girl. Mm-hmm. I remember that one.
Number 89 was Night Court, where they get a homeless Santa. That one I remember.
Did you by chance see if the one I mentioned earlier was on this? MacGyver?
Yeah,
there's too many to search through.
Yeah. Yeah.
That should have been number one.
It'd probably be good before the next show to spend more time on this.
Yep. But doing a quick search, it's not in the top 20, I can tell you that.
Yeah. This was originally a UK list.
I remember episode 84, or number 84, Wings. That was another show that I liked.
Of course, they have a Doctor Who episode in here. They have...
the number one episode they have is a Frasier episode.
Which
I never watched that much Frasier, so...
Me neither. WKRP in Cincinnati. I might have to watch that one. Jennifer's Home for Christmas.
Yeah, 'cause we already watched the Thanksgiving episode of KRP.
Yeah. Well, you need to get all that built in there. I can't believe they have all these crap shows, but I haven't seen MacGyver, so.
Okay, so with respect,
yes.
All right, you're talking about the top 100 Christmas episodes. How many TV shows actually do Christmas? What 100% Christmas episodes, right? Number 61 on their list. Everybody Loves Raymond, the toaster. I know this one only because we watch Everybody Loves Raymond on TV Land every night.
Yep, it's not in their list. Well, their list sucks. I do like 99. The Eureka one was good.
Yep.
Yep, their list is horrible.
Well, of course. 99% of the lists we cover on this show are horrible.
Married with Children. Okay, that one's all right. But
Find fault with...
So we can have Ally McBeal, but we can't have MacGyver.
MacGyver was never big in the UK.
They need to fix that. Export MacGyver.
Home Improvement 1, I remember that. And the original. Not this newfangled crap.
Newfangled?
Yeah, the original MacGyver.
Oh, yeah. I kind of like sometimes new MacGyver, but...
Now, speaking of shows, so some new shows are starting up. Not new shows are starting up. But some shows are coming back now.
Right.
And luckily for me, other shows are starting to go on break.
Yes.
Okay, so Rick and Morty is done for like another year for me, thank goodness. The Orville is just about complete, so I don't have to worry about them.
Am I the only person on the face of the planet that thought Rick and Morty was like a Nick at Night thing, like Rugrats, and didn't realize that this is like an adult thing?
It's on Adult Swim, man.
I guess I am. I'm the last person in the world to catch on here.
I do it as an adult thing. I don't really like it, but...
I thought it was funny.
It got old.
But I have a weird sense of humor.
Well, I do too, but it got old.
So the Orville is just about over. Now, Legends of Tomorrow is going on break soon. So that's going to be a good thing for me as well.
Yeah, and Okay, so two things about Legends of Tomorrow. Are you caught up?
I did
by the
not
way?
watch this week's episode.
Okay, but you saw
I saw the crossover.
you saw all 4 parts of the crossover.
Yes, I did. Very upset.
Okay. Spoiler alert. Yes. Very okay. So yes, very upset.
You know.
I know he didn't. No. Okay. Go on.
Yeah, so very upset about that. And I did read about how they're handling it. Upset about that. Hopefully they'll change it. December 8th. So tomorrow, Colin.
Oh, yes.
Tomorrow starts Mike's favorite show in the world. Comes back on the air.
Second favorite.
Second favorite. The Grand Tour comes back
Now-
to Amazon.
There is one episode during this season that I'm going to watch. And it's the one where they all get made up to look like Hammond. I saw an article about that or pictures from that episode, and I was like, okay, this one I might watch.
All right.
I saw the ad when they were saying that they're all getting remade to look like
More American?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't
And then-
realize that was more of a part of a larger episode.
I didn't either. And then December 13th, so in about 6 days, starts up The Librarians again. So they
Oh,
will
wow,
be
that
coming
show's
back.
still on?
What do you mean, yeah, that
Apparently.
show's still on. That's a great show.
All of my shows are coming back next year.
Wow. And then Doctor Who will come out with their Christmas episode in December, and then we will not see them for over a year. Just crazy. But that's the way that it goes sometimes.
Well, we're talking about crazy. Let's just stop for a second now. Game of Thrones is not going to come out until 2019 now?
Oh, gosh, that's a horrible shame.
2 years?
That is horrendous. I feel sorry for the people that watch it. You know,
Who knows? Maybe they'll give time for another book to come out.
yeah.
I am waiting for The Expanse to come back.
I haven't watched that yet.
I do need to watch that.
The Magicians,
Supposedly, Traveler Season 2 is going to come out soon.
Traveler Season 2. I'm waiting for Code Black to come back.
I am going to...
Unless you guys have actually watched it, both of you do need to watch The Good Place.
haven't watched it.
I watched Season 1.
You've watched season 1.
I'll tell you what,
Yes.
as soon as the Grand Tour is over and Librarians is over, I've got to get caught up on The Flash. I've got to get caught up on Arrow. I will take time to do The Good Place.
The Good Place would be a good one to watch with your wife.
Well, okay, I'm looking for things on the treadmill that I can watch too.
Uh-huh.
So I need something in the, well, it's going to start off in the 25-minute range.
Yeah, Good Place
Right.
is half hour long.
Then I need the 40-minute range
Uh-huh.
once after about the first month, because I have decided come January 1-ish, all right, after leftovers are gone. I mean, let's be honest, really. All right, I'm not going to throw away good food, but after leftovers are gone from New Year's, I'm getting back on the diet, back on the good eating train.
I'm off this week because I already went to Disney.
Yeah,
And so I haven't got back on yet.
that's why I
so-
figured it was a good rule.
Yeah, people are giving me the cupcakes. I'm like, okay.
You know,
I walked a lot, so
Yeah.
I got to catch up.
So, by the way, are you going to your parents at all next couple days, next day or two?
Possibly.
Okay. Well, I've got 6 more for you to take home. So, because if they're not here, I won't eat them. So, figured you could share with either
Yeah,
your
yeah,
nephews or whatever.
Yep.
All right, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Better late
That's
than
the
never.
one with Shatner and
Yeah, Shatner. I'm out.
it's Shatner and
It's the football coach.
He is quarterback.
Okay, quarterback.
Terry
Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw. And
Supposedly it was pretty funny.
it was great. That was a
Okay,
great show.
that's all right. So I gotta look and see.
So, the Fish Out of Water reality series follows 4 American icons and their dedicated guide as they embark on a hilarious month-long adventure across the globe. As the notorious squad travels to some of the world's most famous destinations, they witness extraordinary moments and discover a whole new world of trouble to get into, from life-changing spectacles to eye-opening cultural experiences to hysterically unexpected twists at every turn. These trips promise to be one they will never forget.
So that's a horrible.
It is bad. Oh, it's got the Fonz in it.
Yeah,
And it's
actually
got
his show.
George Foreman.
It's actually Henry Winkler's show.
Oh,
And
okay.
he has the other three along with him.
Yeah.
The idea is that
I would watch it for Terry Bradshaw, Harry Winkler, and George Foreman.
you have to have Shatner. Because the thing is,
Is he just overacting the whole time?
well, they're not acting.
Okay.
They're just those guys.
I know,
going on
but it's
trips.
just he in real life overacts
Yes.
real life.
And that's what's great about it, is that he's the joke.
It becomes a bit overbearing.
That's
eventually.
the joke. That's why it's so wonderful about it.
I mean, he's constantly on.
Because all the rest of them were like, Shatner. So anyway, that's
I mean,
great show.
Terry Bradshaw is amazed by everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that just seems to be his way.
But
Henry Winkler's pretty cool, actually, from what I like. By the way, he's in a Hallmark movie every once in a while. And George Foreman's just got 50 kids named George.
Yeah.
So that's all I know about him.
Yeah. We actually should have talked about that last year because that's when it first came out. That was a great show. Anyway, yeah, you should watch that. That would be a good thing to watch on the treadmill.
Okay.
But The Good Place would be a really good show to watch with Angie.
Okay.
The heck?
Yeah. I'll probably get to more of those. So now, without further ado, because it's time,
Yes.
it's the patented double feature movie review. This week, since it's December, we reviewed one Christmas movie, Get Santa, and another movie, Maximum Ride, I think
Yes.
is what it was called. I did not have a chance to type up my reviews, but I did watch both movies. Actually, I watched Get Santa with the wife, and she said that she wants to watch it again because she fell asleep halfway through. That's no comment on the movie. Comment on she can fall asleep during anything.
Yeah. Especially the other one.
Yeah. So we have those two movies. Which one do you guys want to do first?
Let's get Maximum Ride out of the way.
Maximum Ride's out of the way. All right. Colin.
I'm pretty sure I fell asleep watching this.
Colin. All right. I'll let you go first.
But I did watch. I had read the book several years ago, which was part of the problem, because the movie is actually a pretty rote regurgitation of the book as a movie. It was very boring. It was basically had the same feeling as like the Twilight movies in a way, except replacing the vampires with humans with wings. So James Patterson, who also writes like political thriller type books, he started this series that has like 20 billion books in this series. It's outrageously stupid. About some teenagers to preteen to teenagers who have been modified with avian DNA to have wings. And whatever power he decides to give to them at any given point in time to make the plot go along. So it's kind of like mutants from the Marvel Universe, except with a author who has no sense. I don't know. It was just terrible. Terrible movie. I'm not exactly sure where this goes. It's below meh, but I'm giving it a yawn. Because I fell asleep.
So I'll go next. Again, when I first started watching this movie and they popped out the wing thing, I'm like, oh, I remember this. It's the opening scene to the first X-Men movie. All right. I know these people. Now, as I research it now, it turns out that guy's name was actually called Angel. So I'm not a comic book guy. I don't know what to tell you. This movie really sucked. All right. The CGI was horrible. We've seen better stuff in Asylum movies before. Sharknado had better graphics than this thing did. The story was horrendous. Couldn't follow it. I mean, you could follow it, but it was paper thin. You could see through it without any problems. They didn't answer a bunch of questions at the end. Like, why the hell did she collapse at the end? We don't know. We have no idea. Is it related to the thing buried in her back? We don't know. I was really expecting them to go to the doctor and her to pull all this crap out of these people. You know, why didn't they do that? That was the obvious thing to go to next.
It's like 6 books in, did he find out?
Yeah, so it was just a bad movie. So for me, this gets an out-and-out puke just because it barely held my attention, only because I was forcing myself to watch this while I did other things. So this is just a really crappy movie. Don't waste your time. I thought this was going to be better.
Yeah, I think my yawn could actually qualify as a different word for puke. I didn't want to puke. I just fell asleep.
Okay. So, Mike, it's up to you.
All right. Well, I didn't have a chance to print them out. So, right off the bat, my review was going to be heavily weighted based on the special effects. Okay? If you're making a movie about flying kids, then God, for the love of God, you better have an effects budget. The opening sequence has the same titling font as The Hunt for Red October, which was, to me, was potentially a good omen. And then the pantry sequence in the very beginning, every single label in that pantry was backwards. So all they did was flip the shot to avoid any licensing issues. And what made me most mad about that? There's a box of bagel bites on the shelf. You don't put bagel bites on the shelf. Freeze them bitches. Okay? Now we finally see the wings. And I am so not impressed. So this story better pick up real damn quick. And Dollar Store Wolverine is not the answer to the story picking up.
Dollar Store Wolverine.
So I am not. So now we get to the point where the two of them fly off, and I'm not kidding. That in the back of my mind, I'm hearing the music from Flash Gordon because I'm having flashbacks to the scene with the Hawkmen, which, by the way, had better effects. So the doctor. She goes to the doctor, and the doctor takes the x-rays, and the doctor starts talking about all these muscles and nerves around the implant. And I'm sorry, when do x-rays show muscles and nerves? And when would a doctor at a clinic be able to interpret that off of this fantastic x-ray machine?
Where was the x-ray machine?
I don't even know where the x-ray machine was. Now that you mention it, we just saw the x-rays.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it looked like the same type of door and room that I take my dogs to be looked at the vet clinic.
So when you see the close-up of the wings, it's actually not that bad, but the flying still is terrible. At this point in the movie, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly the title has to do with the movie itself, and then I actually had to look it up to find out that the main character, who everyone is calling Max, her full name is actually Maximum Ride. And I've now decided that he is not Dollar Store Wolverine, he's Dollar Store Sabretooth, which is even a step lower. And that's how it ends. We got another one of those. So this gets a meh. I get that it was based off. Hold on, because now the credits are rolling, and Jenna Marbles was an executive producer on this. So the meh now becomes a blech. A James Patterson novel should have been better than this. A movie based off of that should have been better than this. He's no Stephen King. I get that. But his stories are usually pretty good. The book series was, like Colin said, it was longer than Lord of the Rings, would take up an entire shelf in the library, and it's probably well thought out. But then you get a bunch of nobodies led by Jenna frickin' Marbles? unless you are a huge fan of this book series, don't bother watching this. And even then, this movie is just going to make you angry. So this gets a black.
Okay. I can fill in a couple more little things here. I didn't want to do this before the reviews are in. This was never released. This is a digital
only?
because it was.
They couldn't afford DVDs.
There's basically they're developing it for a long time. They finally just had to use the money to make it, and then they didn't release it in movie theaters. They didn't put it on DVDs. It's digital.
Good idea.
So this was a YA series, a young adult series. Mm-hmm. Basically, this was James Patterson trying to jump on the Harry Potter train. But here's some things just so you know of the reason why she fainted at the end is because Angel was dumping stuff into her brain. They created this thing called the Voice that tells her what to do in future books.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out it was actually just Angel telling her what to do. The doctor character is really her father. I'm not sure if that was in the movie or if I was
wasn't.
asleep.
All you learned is that she's his favorite.
Well, she's his daughter.
Mm-hmm. I figured it was something like that.
Which means that Dollar Store Sabretooth is actually her brother.
I kind of got that part at some point. I think they did cover that at one point.
So basically, the way the book series ends up is everybody else on the planet gets killed, and they're the only ones left.
Oh, that's a nice happy ending.
So, there you go.
Yeah. All right. The other movie that we had to watch, Christmas themed,
Yes.
is Get Santa.
So I'll
Go ahead.
God.
Go ahead and go first, Colin.
Okay, so I wear a lot of shirts from Woot. I like Woot shirts because they have lots of pop culture references, but they tend to be subtle about it. You know,
Yep.
A lot of them is just like have giant words like, "Ha! This is a shirt about something," and Woot shirts tend to just have a picture of something in a funny way.
I think
And just assume that, basically people see the shirt, either they don't understand the shirt, but if they do understand the shirt, it's the greatest shirt they ever saw. And that's why I like Woot shirts. Get Santa is the movie equivalent of a Woot shirt.
Okay.
It's just a whole bunch of pop culture references from many, many other movies, some being holiday movies, some being Shawshank Redemption, all slammed together into a movie. Not really. They don't really, put a light over a lampshade over it, right? It's just there, and so it's like watching the movie is like watching for that's from that movie, and that's from that movie. It stars Jim Broadbent, and also has a bunch of people. It has a bunch of British comedians who you would recognize if you watched a lot of British television, as I do. But I like how they referenced other movies, but sometimes subverting what you're expecting. Okay, so my favorite example is they make a reference to the movie Elf. So an iconic scene in Elf is when the Buddy character meets the writer of the book, who's played by another. What's the guy's name? The other short guy.
Didn't watch Elf.
Oh, well, the short guy from Game of Thrones.
He was in Pixels too.
Yeah. Anyway, in Elf, there's an iconic scene where he meets the guy and he thinks he's an elf and starts calling him an elf.
You're talking about Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage.
Yep.
That's it. So Buddy starts referring to Peter Dinklage as an elf, which creates this huge amount of anger from that character, who then attacks Buddy. So in this movie, they reference that by having the Jim Broadbent Santa Claus character refer to Warwick Davis's character, whose name is Sally, as an elf. But they don't actually have that character attack him. No, you have the character go, a very interesting thing about how bullies are such small people, and then just walks off. And that's the kind of thing I love about this movie. Is it does reference the other things, but then twists it. And this movie gets a full schnikes from me. I loved this movie. This is a holiday movie about Santa Claus. It references a lot of things from other movies. There's nothing very special about its plot. But I think it's very well done. I think it was very funny, and I loved it a lot.
All right. I'll go next if you don't mind, Mike.
Go right ahead.
All right. So, again, I watched this with my wife, and so it was a pretty good movie, although I kept getting asked, who's that? I know they've been in something else. Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Weren't they in this? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. In fact, 5 seconds into the movie, she wanted me to tell her who Rafe Spall was, the guy who played Steve. Rafe Spall. No idea. I don't have a clue. Never saw him. Well, I know he was in a Hallmark thing or something. Still doesn't help me. I'm like, I don't know. So,
he's been in a lot of stuff.
I had to deal with that. All right. And then you get to the point where he meets his parole officer, Joanna Scanlon. And she goes, oh, I know that girl. She was the head mistress or whatever from Matilda. And I just went, sure. I don't think so, because she looks a little young, and that movie's pretty old. But you're right, she does look like her. So, whatever, okay. At that point, she fell asleep, and I could concentrate on the movie. I did enjoy this movie. But some of the points that I enjoyed were some of the stuff which was kind of a little bit of more of the beat you over the head stuff that Colin said he kind of just didn't pay attention to. Like, I almost laughed out loud after Santa Claus went and saw the barber and comes out with cornrows and a braided beard. All right, because he's tough looking. All right. He looks like Paul Sr. from Orange County Choppers. All right. That to me, that was a good look for him. But then he starts talking like Santa Claus does, and he completely ruins the image. That was good for me. The fact that when he says that that the reindeer doesn't talk, but he communicates, and then you learn that the reindeers communicate by farting. That was a great gag. All right, that was a perfect gag. Some of these things were just funny for funny's sake, and I like that in a movie. All right, Christmas movies, sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. This one I think they had a lot of fun with. And bonus, you got to see the new Doctor Who. All right, you didn't get to see her for very long, but Jodie Whittaker is in this. All right, and so that kind of got me excited when I saw her name in the credits at the beginning. I'm like, oh, new Doctor Who. And I had not really seen her in anything before, so this was kind of nice. Mm-hmm. And for once in a movie, we got to see a stepdad who didn't despise the real dad of the kid.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
What a refreshing change, because normally they are so against him. All right. And that was so nice to see, where the stepdad covered for him, mm-hmm. and gave him the benefit of the doubt and said, "Oh, he deserves a chance." I mean, that was so nice to see. If that happens on the other side of the pond, that's where I want to reside most of the time. All right, because that's such a nice thing to see. So I'm not going to go as far as Colin. I will give this a smile. in my opinion, a nice, fun movie to have. And, just another one to add to the Christmas list if you want fun, interesting movies that don't repeat the same boring thing over and over again.
Well, they repeat.
Well,
but they twist it up.
They twist it enough to where it's a new thing.
Like the stepdad who, you're like, oh, great. Here's the scene where the stepdad goes, oh, you're such a terrible person. And instead he's like, just a cat, dear.
Yeah.
It was great. Okay.
Mike.
All right. So a lot of the stuff that you guys mentioned, I took some notes on. All right. So, yeah, it's a first look at the actress playing Doctor Who. So it could be good, could be bad, but she was barely in it. So I still have no idea what we're going to get when we get the new Doctor Who. First thing I notice is the kid has the coolest blanket I have ever seen in my life. I want that blanket that looks like, so when you're laying there, it looks like you're an astronaut laying there. I want that. Although somehow I think Kim will object. But I want the camper van, even though it runs like crap. I want the camper van. Santa going to jail. Wasn't that a plot of an Ernest movie? I'm not sure.
Yes, it was.
Might have. So the barber trying to get Santa to be angry gangster. This is before the cornrows when he's just trying to make him do the faces. Kind of sad. Reindeer communicating using farts. That is funny as hell. The whole chase scene where the cops are chasing them on the reindeer reserve, whatever. I want to know how many times they had to shoot that scene or how many times those cops have chased people, because there were literally ruts of tire tracks in the grass that the cops were following. They couldn't hire somebody with a rake to go out there and clean off the tire tracks before the retake. I'm just, these are the kinds of things that I notice and normal people wouldn't even think twice about.
Yep.
Forget drunk Eric Stone Street. Santa with cornrows is now my new spirit animal. And it's about damn time that Warwick Davis showed up in this movie. It's the whole reason that I agreed to this. Okay, dress a reindeer as a cow, and no one will notice. I was quite impressed that they got all of these little people, instead of CGIing actors like they did in Fred Claus or what have you, or using kids like they did in the Santa Claus. There has not been a gathering of little people like this since The Wizard of Oz. Now they have a magic squirrel. Please, God, don't let my wife see this. So I gave this movie a laugh. Okay, it's not your typical Christmas movie, which is a good thing. All right, it keeps the humor to a minimum, but still tells the story. I'm glad. I was actually surprised that Ridley Scott was the executive producer of this film, which we kind of get to see a softer, less sci-fi side of him. The cast was well rounded. The story moved at a good pace. I found myself smiling at the ending. So if you're looking for a Christmas movie that is off the beaten path, that most people probably have not seen, but will still bring the family together, this is one I can easily recommend to you.
Yep. And Mike, I sent you a link for a astronaut duvet set.
Okay.
Complete with helmet, pillowcase.
Well, okay.
Well, because if you're going to be an astronaut, then you need to put your face in the helmet.
True.
So what I sent you is
okay.
You get to be in the whole outfit. It's only $119
Oh yeah, okay. That's gonna be a definite veto
for a twin.
I better hope that shows up on one of these Amazon review sites where I can get it for like $1 as long as I write a review.
But here's the good news, Mike. You could get her the ballerina one.
Oh, that's not gonna happen. So Listen, I'm just looking through since August when I started keeping tabs of what we already reviewed and the ratings that went along with it.
Yep.
Colin has given out Schnikes 3 times.
Wow.
Okay. Get Santa, Burnt, and Beta.
Huh.
Beta. Yeah, Colin gave Beta a Schnikes, and I'm still trying to figure this one if this was a typo.
No, remember I said at the time that if he asked me any other week, it probably wouldn't be. But at that moment in time, it was just Nikes.
Okay.
I probably couldn't justify that to myself anymore. But at the time,
Well, Shaggy, you've only given a Schnikes out once, and that was to Naked.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
I technically have not given out a Schnikes yet
Yeah.
because I disqualified Burnt
Yeah.
on the same grounds that Colin disqualified My Name is Doris. I felt this movie was too good to actually be part of our review pool, but that would have been a Schnikes.
yeah. And I left that one qualified because everybody else's reviews of it were so bad.
So, all right. So for the next show, which is December 18th, correct?
Correct, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
We have to discuss something regarding the movie review.
Yep.
Because the night before is A Christmas Story Live.
Yes. I think we discussed that as something we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, for better or for worse, I think that's taken up a spot.
Yep.
So the 17th is A Christmas Story Live. What time does it start? Let's see here.
Probably 7.
Live on Fox. It is going to be...
Because it's Fox, so it's 2 hours. It has to be 7.
Really? It's going to be at 7 o'clock.
Well, Fox only does 7.
Oh, yeah. 6 Central.
Oh, 6.
6.
Even earlier.
6 for us, 7 for Mike.
Okay.
Now, question is, do we live tweet?
Oh, I think whether you want to or not, I'm probably going to live tweet.
Yeah. Colin, you are welcome to come over. And we could be here and watch it.
Okay.
And then then we could basically the next night then we just give our reviews because we'll have given all of our comments. We could read our tweets.
Right, so we can discuss it the same way we did when we live tweet Sharknado.
Yeah.
So then we just have to I need a random number from 1 to 34.
All right, 1 to 34. Let's fire up the old generator. 18.
18. Awesome. Butter.
Butter? Butter?
Butter.
What the hell is it TTER or DD?
TTER.
I don't remember. And in Iowa, an adopted girl discovers her talent for butter carving and finds herself pitted against an ambitious local woman in their town's annual contest. Jennifer Garner, Ty Burrell, Garrett Schenk, Kristen Shaw, Jason Yoda, Phyllis Smith. Those are all the first names that I know. So Jennifer Garner, though, huh? She's a big name. She's a big name. Ty Burrell, big name.
I do have to admit I have watched this.
Oh.
I did not put this on the list, but I have watched this before. I will rewatch it so that I can write a true review because I watched it a long time ago.
Okay.
So it's worth watching.
Yes.
Okay.
It was made in 2012 in Russia.
I can, if I had to put this in a category with other similar styles of movie, I would lump this in with like Little Miss Sunshine or like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, like that movie style.
According to this, now I'm sure I didn't even see this on the list of cast members. Jennifer Garner, Ty Burrell, and then these people are all people that I'm assuming have like a 1-minute cameo. Olivia Wilde.
Okay.
Rob Corddry, Ashley Greene, Alicia Silverstone, and Hugh Jackman. I cannot believe that they are in the movie for that long.
No, I believe, if my memory is serving right, I believe the last 3 are essentially cameos, or they're only in the end segment of the movie. Olivia Wilde has a bigger part. Ty Burrell and Jennifer Garner have big parts.
Yeah, they were first in the cast listing, so I believe those. But otherwise, it's a little bit sketchy on the rest of them.
So, while we were doing that, I did a little more research. Because what you said, something you said about Get Santa, about how it was actually using actual little people.
Yes.
So I looked it up, and I figured, well, if Warwick Davis is in there, it's probably helps explain that. So all of the vocal actors in that movie, all the elves that were talking, yeah, they came from Warwick Davis's agency.
Okay.
And it looks like every other agency that supplies little people,
Smaller actors,
they were in there as well. So basically, if there was an agency in England who could supply someone short,
if there was they
were working for
older actor under 4 foot tall anywhere in the vicinity, they were on scene. Is what you're saying.
So the only ones that weren't were the ones in Time Bandits. Are any of the Time Bandits still alive?
I don't know.
Now that I don't know what.
One of them killed himself. That was the one who had the NBC show.
All right, Kenny Baker. I think we know is dead.
John Cleese was in Time Bandits. He's still around.
Yeah, but he's not. He's definitely not short.
Sean Connery's still around.
Okay, Kenny Baker is dead. Okay. David Rappaport is dead.
Killed himself.
Jack Purvis is dead.
Malcolm Dixon is still around.
Mike Edmonds is still alive. Tiny Ross is dead. Okay. So, only one of them is still alive. Og, the stupid one that tried to eat everything.
Oh, hold on. Okay, before we outro, we want to bring up 2 things. All right, one is we are taking applications for the 2018 Celebrity Death Pool.
Yes.
So please go to ptrradio.com, click on the banner on the front page, put in your picks for your 5 celebrities that you think are going to kick the bucket in 2018. All right? The entry is going to come down off of the web, and the game will begin January 1st at 6 p.m. All right, Central Time. So you only have until January 1st to get them in there. And you can refer people. All they have to do is put your name or your email address in the referral box. You will get a point. All right, very important to do that. The more points that you can get from referrals, the better you're going to be when you start the game. Those are new people only, all right? That doesn't count. If you referred them last year, you can't refer them this year and get a point. It's just new folks into the game. All right, so put it on your Twitter, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Instagram, whatever it takes. Get people to enter the game. We are way short of where we were this time last year, and we really need your help to get the word out there. Mike and I are starting to shame people next week on our Facebook page.
That's
and
right.
We want you to do the exact same thing. So post the link to enter and then start tagging your friends. Tell them, hey, I know you. You have a sick mind. Enter this game and tell them I sent you. That's all we're asking for. All right, just help us get the word out. Even if it doesn't result in anything, we just want to see a big push for this out on social media to try and get people in there. Because say it goes out to 20 people and we only get 2 of them. Well, you know what? That's 2 people that we wouldn't have gotten any other way. So we need your help. Make sure that you post or repost things that we post about this game. We really want this to be a big thing. The other thing, I mentioned it on the last show, and I'm going to mention it again. It's a bit that I am stealing, wholeheartedly stealing from from the Steve and Kyle podcast, one that I listen to. They call it 2 minutes of awkward conversation. I'm calling it 2 minutes of your mind. You put a review for us in on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Store, wherever you listen to our podcast on. You put a review in for us. 5 stars, 4 stars. If you hate us, 1 star. I don't care. Put a review in for us. Tell us, why you listen to the show. Why do you hate the show? Put in that review. What do you think of the show? And then send us a note saying, hey, I left a review for you. Here's my name. All right. We will put those all into a bag. We'll draw it out and we'll give you an opportunity on the show live. All right. To be on the air with us and tell the world what you think of us and the show. All right. Or anything else that you want to talk about for 2 minutes or more if you're interesting. All right. We usually don't hang up on people if there's something interesting on them. So that's 2 minutes of your mind. Again, thanks to Steve and Kyle Podcast for giving us the idea behind it. And I'm ripping it off. So there you go. We got those 2 things going on. Death Pool, 2 minutes on your mind. We need you guys' help as listeners of the show for both of those things. Mike and Colin, anything else?
Nope.
All right. With that said, you've been listening to PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb, and we want to thank every one of you that tune in live, download the podcast, keep up with us on the website, ptrradio.com, as well as all the social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow the show there. Just look for PTR Radio. That's where we'll be at. Don't forget, we've got Potty the Elf that you can see from today's pictures on Instagram, and tomorrow there'll be an interesting Santa for you to take a look at. So make sure to follow us there. With that said, our next show, like Mike said, will be on the 18th, and we'll do our 2 movie reviews then too. So you'll get to see what we think of 2 totally horrible, probably movies. So with that said, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Mike the Ape Man.
All right, stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.